moving on to the quotient rule below it. This is another rule that is going to be applied in many different scenarios. You can, of course, either just memorize it as it's written here. I like to kind of, again, just say a little bit of a song in my head. So I say low D high minus high D low, and then just over low squared. That part doesn't really rhyme, but it just kind of works somehow. So again, just low D high minus high D low over low squared. Okay, this question we have to recognize as a quotient rule question, right? Because we see a fraction here, or we see division. So for this, we're going to do low D high minus high D low to start. Okay, so low is just basically a different way of saying our denominator. So that's x squared times D high, which is derivative of natural log of x, which is 1 over x, minus high, which is natural log of x, D low. So that's the derivative of the denominator, which is just 2x using the power rule. And then this is all going to be over low squared, or our denominator squared, which is x squared squared. Now we're going to go ahead and just clean all of this up. So x squared times 1 over x is just x. And then here we're just going to rewrite this to 2x ln x. And then this would all be over x to the fourth. Now we can go ahead and simplify by basically taking an x out of the numerator. So that would look like this. So x times 1 minus 2 ln x over x to the fourth. Now we can simplify here. This is actually a really common mistake that my students make, is that they won't properly simplify, or else they just get confused on this step. So I really encourage them, if they do get confused there, I really encourage them to actually factor out the GCF and then simplify, because you can really only simplify if your terms are being multiplied. So this is going to cancel out and just become a 1. This is going to cancel out and become an x to the third. So our final cleaned up answer would be 1 minus 2 natural log x over x to the third. Okay, for question number 6, we have another chain rule problem. So we are going to let u equals sine x, and then u prime equals cosine x. Now we're going to rewrite f in terms of u. So we're going to get f equals e to the u. Then we're going to take the derivative of f, and we're going to get e to the u times u prime using the chain rule. Now we are going to plug everything back in. So this will become e to the sine x times cosine of x, which is answer choice C. Okay, so for number 10, we're going to have a combination of the quotient and the chain rule. I am not going to write out the formal chain rule notation once again, because ideally, as you get more comfortable with it, you won't have to. So quotient rule, as a refresher, is low D high minus high D low over low squared. So low is the denominator, which is e to the x plus 1, times derivative of the numerator, which is going to be cosine of 2x times 2 using the chain rule, and then minus high, which is the numerator, so sine of 2x, minus derivative of denominator, which is just e to the x. And this is all going to be over low squared, so e to the x plus 1 squared. And of course, this is equal to w prime. Okay, now we just have to clean this mess up. So let's go ahead in our numerator, and let's go ahead and rewrite this term first. So we're going to have 2 cosine of 2x times e to the x plus 1 minus sine of 2x times e to the x, and that's all over e to the x plus 1 squared. Now let's go ahead and look through our answer choices. I'm immediately eliminating those because the denominator is not correct. And then let's take a look at A and D. Let's see, it looks like it would be answer choice A. Only difference there is they just rewrote these terms in the other order, but of course that is equivalent. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, in this question, we are going to have to use a combination of both the product rule and the quotient rule. So let's go ahead and jump right in. At the highest level, we're going to start with the quotient rule, which is low D high minus high D low over low squared. So low times the derivative of the numerator. I'm going to write that again off to the side here. So in order to get that, we're going to have to use the product rule. So we are going to do the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So let's go ahead and plug that back in here. So we're going to get e to the x cosine x plus sine x times e to the x. All right, so we just did low d high minus high times the derivative of the denominator, which is just 1. And I should put parentheses there like so. And then this is all going to be over low squared, or just x squared. All right, so now all we have to do is clean this up. So, and this would be r prime equals. All right, let's start off by just kind of distributing this x into everything. So we would get x times e to the x cosine x plus x e to the x sine x minus e to the x times sine x over x squared. All right, so you probably see in your numerator here that we have a GCF. So we have this e to the x in every term here. So let's go ahead and pull that out. I apologize. I don't know why that just took away some of my writing. So hopefully we can move on without that. So I would get e to the x times x cosine x plus x sine x minus sine x all over x squared. And this would all be equal to my r prime.